Aren't you glad that I didn't do the Ghostface voice for our Scream fan film? It's me, it's Alex. Surprise. Ah. And yeah, welcome to this now third live that we've done on Late Night 99, so welcome. We're going live tonight because there's a few exciting things that are happening that I want to work out. So bear with me. The first thing that's happening that is really exciting is that, now you'll have to forgive me, there's a blue light that's going off, and I went live before and got super distracted because I could see it like right there and then it disappears. So I don't know what blue light it is. I don't know where it's coming from. I've turned off everything. I think it might be, yeah, I don't know, I can't figure it out. So if it distracts you, I'm very sorry from the 0 people watching, but it's distracting me. So just know that I'm putting all of my focus, where is that light coming from, into not thinking about that blue light that's on me. It'll probably get fixed if I change this red lighting, but I think it's so much fun. It's hard for me to turn off the LED lights. Stop using strong colors in your movies. All right, so we're really close, like ridiculously close to being monetized on YouTube, which is really exciting. The thresholds for monetization, if you're not aware, are as follows. 1, you need 1,000 subscribers, which we've done. Thank you very much. And then the second thing that we need 4,000 watch hours. So far in my experience, it's been the watch hours that have been the hardest to get. It's tough, but we've been getting there. Thanks to my good friend Ghostface. We Don't Scream has been it's been carrying the team, if I do say so myself, and I'm very glad that we made that movie, and just want to thank everyone involved, especially my wife Kristen, who wrote it. It's a great film. Thank you for writing this movie, and for Anton directing it. He did an amazing job. You're going to see me look off to try and find this thing, the light that's shining on me, the blue light. If it's just a trick on the camera that I'm looking at and there is no blue light shining on me, I should get checked in to the hospital because I'm seeing hallucinations. But anyway, the team behind Don't Scream did such an amazing job, and without their hard work and the countless hours that we put in, it would not be as good as it is, and it would not be doing so well on the channel. So but I'll talk about that a little bit more later. Basically what I want to do is I want to talk about some horror movies that we've done, given that it's Halloween, and to encourage anyone that would like to look at some of the horror movies we've done, that would like to go and check out some of our other films, to do so, because we are so close with the watch hours. We're actually 200 watch hours away from being monetized, and the issue is we released Don't Scream 1 year ago in 2 weeks. So we're about 14 days away from when we released Don't Scream, and that video got so many views. So once we get to that point where we reach I think it's the 13th or the 14th of November when it came out, it's going to be a lot harder to get the watch hours, because we will have to get exponentially more hours for it to count within the 1 year window. I didn't explain that very well, but essentially we need people to watch our movies, and I think we're going to be a little bit shy of watch hours for getting monetized, and we'll have to wait for some other cool films to come out and blow us out of the water. So that's what's going on the channel. So without further ado, I want to discuss some of the films that we released in 2022's month of horror. Oh, thank you, pop-up. I want to discuss some of the films that came out in last year's month of horror, and just do a bit of a sharing time, bit of a discussion around those films, what we learned from them, what I learned from each of the experiences being on set and making those movies. So the first film that came out for Month of Horror was an amazing little film called Offerings for My Friend. So I bought on Facebook Marketplace an old DVD camera. So it records on mini DVDs, and the aesthetic is so cool for this camera. The camera came out in like 2009, but it really has like a VHS feel. And I think that is partially caused by the fact that I need to convert it into another format, and it just compresses as I try and get it off of off of the stick and on into a format that I can use, and it has a really strong feel. So I knew that I was going to make a found footage film with it, and in thinking about the camera that I wanted to use with it, with the footage being so degraded, I thought that it'd be a great opportunity to try and do some practical effects or sell some stuff that I might not otherwise have been able to do on in like 4K digital film. So we, using this old camera, did some really cool prosthetic stuff. We opened on a camper getting bludgeoned to death by our villain. I also worked on this mask, which I'll bring out and put on display. Excuse me. Oh, there we go. Also worked on this mask, and it showed up beautifully on camera. I was really happy with how it turned out. I don't know what it's supposed to be. I think it's in my mind it was supposed to look like a skin mask, but instead it looked I don't know. It's just creepy, isn't it? And it took me a long time to get this prop right. We did a lot of it's gonna fall over. There we are. I painted and repainted this numerous times, and it's not gonna, it won't show up, but I was painting it, and this is the way that I made this mask, for anyone that wanted to know or not. I would paint it with like skin color paint, and then I'd put tissue over the top, and I'd do a layer of tissue, and then a layer of paint, and a layer of tissue, sort of making this like paper mache sort of look. And it took me a while to get this sort of old flesh look right, and I don't think it sort of sells as a flesh mask, but it still looks really cool to me and very special, and I may make another movie with this character. So the way that we shot Offerings for My Friend was done over a long period of time, and I just did little pickup shoots where I could. Basically every time there's a new location or a new scene, it would be a new day or a new week of filming, and I didn't have to worry about continuity with my presentation because I was wearing a mask the whole time. And I did manage to do a lot of the filming during a week's holiday I had, where I shot Don't Scream, and okay, so what are some of the highlights from this film? The twist at the end of the film, if you've not seen Offerings for My Friend, please go and watch it. The twist at the end of the film is that there's sort of like an alien force that has been, or like an extraterrestrial force that's been encouraging my character in the film to go and collect these bodies for it, thus the name Offerings for My Friend. And the alien comes out from behind the woods and attacks the main character. Now I'll have to find the original asset that I used for that, but it was like a big ogre on a green screen walking, and it was like this free green screen asset for like I think I found it on YouTube just searching for green screen monster, and I just cooked it in the editing software. I messed around with the color grade big time. I used different blurs or whatever. I just tried to make it as pixelated and broken as possible because I wanted the alien to not be capturable on camera. I wanted it to be like, or maybe it's invisible, and it's and the camera just picks up pixels of it. I just wanted to be like this pixelated creature coming lumbering towards the camera, and it's again like all the gimmicks that worked in Offerings to My Friend were really a result of me leaning into the use of that camera and the use of this old footage, and basically just me going, how far can I stretch the what I'm actually doing on screen to the point where it's still just believable enough, but yeah, it's still fun. I don't know. So I did a lot of gore in the opening of the film especially, and I made a fake head out of paper mache as well, and duct tape. It was a mixture of really paper mache and duct tape, and then I just filled it up with the most disgusting stuff I could find from Coles, like mince, chicken mince, mushed up rock melon, I think there was watermelon in it as well, and paint and chocolate syrup, and then I just smashed the heck out of it with a rock in the film. And I think the gore really was sold as well in Offerings to My Friend. So I guess for me the takeaways for this film are to think about what benefits can come from your limitations, and for me that was, well, I can get away with using really rudimentary video editing skills to do some CGI work in the film, and I can do some prosthetic stuff, and I don't have to worry about the fact that I'm not a makeup artist. I can't make it necessarily look realistic, but when it's being recorded in this medium, it doesn't really matter because it'll sell itself, and then as well leaning into a sort of camp attitude towards the film I think helped too, because then anything that slips through the cracks can just be written off as, well, it's a campy film anyway. So the next film that came out in 2022's month of horror was Tempest. Now, Tempest was a very difficult film to get made. My good friend Adrian wrote the script for this, and I was really excited to make it. It was a gothic it's a suburban gothic horror, so it's a very dark sort of Poean film, with, you know, lightning and someone rocking up in the middle of the night to talk to their to talk to the owner of the house. It played into a lot of tropes. It involves again, some spoilers for this, so go and watch it if you haven't already, or it might be better because of hearing me talk about it, then go and watch it afterwards. But it's about, you know, someone's guilt eating away at them. There's a lot of tropes there from sort of old stories and poems and Gothic literature and that kind of thing. And the script is amazing, and really I think captures the mood, or it it detailed a mood really well that we were able to capture on film. So that was exciting. But getting this film made was a mission. It was really hard. We had issues with actors. We had one particular actor lined up, and then there was a miscommunication around location where the film was getting shot. So I'm so close to figuring out where that light's coming from. Hey, there's a blue light flashing on my face. Just for anyone that wasn't there for me talking about that, and it's driving me nuts. But anyway, so Tempest, we had an actor pull out because it was going to be too far to drive, and then I tried to organise another actor and they weren't available, and it was our third recasting for this role. Alex McRae came in for the rescue and came and supported us and acted in this thing. But the issue was there was some crossover where there was a day where Adrian was available, but Alex wasn't, and then there was a scene that we needed to capture, but we didn't have everything ready for it, so I had to superimpose myself into a scene that we'd already shot as well, just by masking myself out from a dark car park and then placing it in. So there was actually a lot of visual effects that went into this film. It might even be our most visual effects heavy film from the whole channel, really. But once we had everyone on set, it was a lot of fun to film, because Adrian, Alex and I had worked together before on Over the Next Horizon, and we'd chatted a fair bit on set there about stunts, about acting, about what we wanted to do, and it was just a really great opportunity to all link back in together and do something really cool. So I gotta stop saying like cool and really awesome. I really enjoyed working with Adrian on this film because, and this is I suppose a tip for directors, he knew what he wanted the film to look like visually, and he'd known from way back when he started writing the script, and that was really helpful for me, who was the cinematographer on the film, to have all that information and about his vision and all that knowledge about what he was wanting the film to look like, and it really ended up coming out with a very strong style. And we got creative to make it happen. So it's supposed to be raining during the film, and we ended up using a mixture of practical rain, which was just me standing outside with the hose, and it was a mixture of me standing outside with the hose, and then adding some digital rain in there as well. And on top of that, it also rained when we didn't want it to rain. We were trying to set a light up outside to have like a lightning effect on the characters, and that was really difficult too, because we were having to set the lights up in the rain, and then we had to set up an umbrella as well to cover that up. So we worked really hard on getting the look right, and I feel like the house in the film and the setting ended up being a character in and of itself, and we accomplished that with set dressing and a number of different things, and because our house has been used in a lot of films, lots and lots of films, and it always ends up looking kind of the same. So by really playing into some strong visuals with the set designing, that helped a lot. So what else is there to talk about for Tempest? Not much, I don't think. There was a lot of sort of splicing together that we did in that film, and a lot of masking that was involved. It was a lot more tedious than I thought it would be, but that's okay. Hold on, there's a tap running. Let me just have a look. the next film from 2022's Month of Horror was a film that was actually shot a little bit earlier in the year, called The Child in the Chapel. Now that film was, I've talked a little bit about it already in my, in a recent video on tips for horror filmmakers. Now, The Child in the Chapel is a horror film. Obviously, I'm really proud of it. It's a film that my wife and I shot when we were on vacation. We were on holiday, and we were staying in this Airbnb, and the Airbnb we were staying in was like a small chapel, and we thought, heck, this is a really great location for a horror film. Why don't we just? It was really on the drive there. We were I was writing in my notes on my phone some ideas about scenes and how we could break down a story to film over this time, and we ended up landing on this idea of a couple that are staying there, and they don't really want kids, but there's a child that rocks up, and it's like a demon child, and sort of eventually takes over one of the parents, or one of the couple, who adopts the child as theirs, and then and the other is not is afraid of it. And there was a lot of parallels there between the very real fear that people have around becoming parents and parenthood, and children can be scary, and it's I think it's one of the films that I'm the proudest of. I feel like we did a really great job at building suspense throughout the whole film. It's a great watch if you haven't seen it, and it's a miracle that film got made, because we would shoot like one shot and then go out for the day, come back, get the rest of the shots in the scene. We were filming it in between a lot of other like family activities, and it was a lot of teamwork from my wife and I to get this done, and I'm just so chuffed about how it turned out. We really used to the fullest extent the locations that were available to us at that location, right at that holiday destination. There was we just went on TripAdvisor and found a activity near us, which was a tunnel that you could walk to. It was like one of the key landmarks in that area. It's an old train tunnel, and we went there and we were able to capture some footage on that at that location. And then we also went and found like some really interesting bushwalks, and then the property that the house was on, or the old chapel was on, had some really great fields around it too that we were able to shoot in. And I guess what I feel like we did well in this film that I've possibly not done so well in other films was character development, and I'm put a lot of thought into the dialogue in the film, and the conversations between the two characters, and setting up some stuff with foreshadowing, paying it off, and the tension between the couple really does build over the film, and it's one of the films on the channel that I go back to from time to time and watch and just genuinely enjoy. There was one point in the production where we were really stuck. It was the last night before we were having to go home, and we hadn't quite figured out the climax of the film yet. We'd filmed nearly everything else, and it was just the end that we didn't quite have right, and we didn't know how it was going to end necessarily. And we finally got there when we had to call my friend Joel in the middle of the night. It was like 12 a.m., which where he lives was like 1 a.m., and he was very gracious and picked up the phone, and we sort of talked out what could happen in the film, and there was a really fun campy twist that we figured out that could happen at the end of Child in the Chapel, and and we just went with it, and I'm so glad we did, because it takes the film from what was initially maybe like a elevated horror A24 feel, and then turned it into the campiest thing you've ever seen, and it was very unexpected and enjoyable in hindsight. So yeah, that's definitely one of the films that I enjoy looking back on the most. So if you've not seen that movie, you should definitely go and watch it. And that brings us to Loving Memory. So I won't spend too long on Loving Memory because it's a shorter film, and I didn't direct it and I wasn't there for the production, so I don't have much to say about it, except that I feel really honoured to have more performances from Penny and Luke on the channel. They're two amazing actors in the Brisbane Gold Coast area, and Luke came back and is in Seclusion, and Penny was in Heist of Christ, which we released I think for Christmas last year, and she's also in Dolores, which hasn't come out yet. It was going to come out for Month of Horror this year, but we've delayed it because of a festival submission. Two amazing actors. So if you want to see some great performances, especially from Luke, or if you liked him in Seclusion, go back and watch Loving Memory. It's a very underrated film, and again, a very very gothic, depressing movie. So yeah, watch it and get depressed. And that brings us to Don't Scream. So Don't Scream was one of the most like grueling and rewarding experiences that I've ever had on set. So I'm not sure I've ever spoken about Don't Scream and what it was like, but we shot it over, I wish Anton was here, I think it was 4 nights, and but these nights were starting between 6 and 7 p.m, and we shot all the way through to like 3 or 4 a.m. in the morning, and these poor actors had to then drive back home and then come back the next day for more scenes. I think there was 1 or 2 isolated days, and then there was a 2-day block. I think it was like a Monday, and then like a Thursday, Friday, Saturday. But Don't Scream, on the first day of filming, we set up the shot. The actor that was in the scene was performing, and the performance wasn't quite right. The camera work wasn't quite right. It just wasn't meshing very well, and we're all trying to direct on top of each other. I was jumping in and trying to give direction and say, I like this, and Anton pulled me aside and said, cut that crap out. No, Anton pulled me aside and explained to me how he was wanting to support the actors, and how he was wanting to lead them into their performances, and basically just asked me to trust him and let him do his thing. So from that point on, once I and the other actors sort of stepped back and trusted Anton a bit more with the vision of the film, it came into its own in a big way, and there were some nerves with some of the actors. I think not everyone knew each other, and one of the ways that Anton helped everyone was giving them more free rein to add their own personality and their own improv into the film, rather than getting them to say lines in a particular way that he wanted, but letting them say it in the way that they would, or that they felt like the character would. And by doing that, I think it really it got rid of a lot of the pressure that was maybe initially put on when we started filming on the first day, to be saying things in a particular way and performing in a particular way, and instead the actors were able to to bring their own life and personality to the film, and that was it was a really cool thing to see, and a really rewarding film to be a part of. It's there was some nights where we were delirious. I remember vividly there was a time where Anton was acting in a fight scene. It was Ghostface's first scene where he comes in and really starts killing people, and Anton would sit on the stool and fall asleep while I would set up the next shot. Anton was playing Ghostface, and then I would wake Anton up. He would go and act the scene, and then go and sit in the stool and fall asleep again. And these were like brutal scenes. He was getting like a fridge slammed into his face. He was getting kicked onto the floor. He was having to stack hits with the Ghostface mask on, which was really hard because the way it is now, you can kind of see my eyes, yeah. But so to avoid that in the film, we had a big balaclava sock thing that went over Anton's face. So he had that on and this mask. I'm sweating bullets here with this. We shot it at the same time, and just it's so hot in Queensland. And with this robe and his face covered up, he was just a sweaty, blind, tired mess. So no one was awake enough to do any BTS, but we should definitely put together something about that film because there's a lot of stories. But what I found really what I got the most out of Don't Scream really was watching a very, very talented man direct a cast of very, very talented actors, and that was definitely the biggest takeaway for me. And I've been thinking for a long time about how to put that into words, and how to make that a tangible sort of lesson or a tangible thing to share with people. And I've decided that I'm not going to, and I'll just get Anton to help me do that sometime. I think I figured out the light. I think it's my no, I haven't figured it out. Alright, never mind. Where are you coming from? Damn you, confusing light. Alright, I'm gonna mix this up. Whoa, not like that. There we are. Now there won't be a flashing blue light. Sorry, I think I just gave our poor singular viewer I hope they don't have epilepsy, is what I'm saying. Alright, so that was Month of Horror for last year. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave it at that in terms of talking about films, and just share a little bit more about what you guys could do to help us with the channel getting monetized. What we really need and what we would so appreciate is if you could share any of the films from our channel that you enjoyed with one or two people that you know that are maybe interested in film, or that are filmmakers themselves or actors. It would mean so much because we are really close, and we can share the I can share the films that we're making on YouTube. I can share them on Facebook, I can share them on Reddit, and I might have 10-20 people click on the film, but most of them only watch it for 1 or 2 minutes. What I find is it's the people that actually are interested in independent filmmaking, the people that are actually maybe filmmakers themselves, or really interested in the specific genres that we're releasing, whether it's apocalypse movies or horror, or comedy, if you watch the one comedy on our channel. And it's the people that actually really want to see what we're making. enjoy the films and watch them for longer, and that's what builds up the watch hours. And with us being so close to getting monetized, I thought that it would be helpful to talk about on the live, and I just really want to say that if you like the films that we're making, if you want us to keep making them, a really great way that you could support us would be sharing it with 1 or 2 people, or going back and watching any of our films that you haven't seen yourself. We've got a really big catalogue of films. How many films in total do we even have? We've got 28 short films on the channel, and they go from like 30-minute films to, there's a couple of like 1-minute short films on there that are really quick and easy watches. We've got 2 feature films on the channel as well, and they go for about 40 minutes each. So if there's any of those films that you haven't seen, if you've only seen one of our features, or if you've not seen some of the short films, if you went back and watched some of them to celebrate Halloween, or to just relax after work, or before you go to work, or whatever, it would really help us, because let me show you. We're like hilariously close. So this is the becoming a YouTube partner page, and we have 1,119 subscribers, but our watch hours are about 200 watch hours short. We're so close to 4,000. Oh, catch this. This is what I mean. This is what's gonna happen. For anyone that cares about this, which you may not, but that's okay. We have had pretty much the same watch hours for the whole of this year. There have been outliers, obviously. We're getting about 8 to 12, 13 a day. But once we hit 13th of November, when Don't Scream came out, once we hit here, we are gonna really struggle, when we'll have to step it up a notch to be able to get those extra hours, because before Don't Scream came out, we were barely getting 1 watch hour a day, but then following Don't Scream, we're in that trend. So that's why these couple of days really count. That's why it's something I'm talking about now, and something I'd love some help with. But at the end of the day, we just love making movies. We're gonna make movies anyway. We don't need to be monetized or financially supported to make films. It might help us produce better movies, but it's not gonna stop us from making stuff, because when there's a will, there's a way, and there's certainly a will. So I've got a poll up. So this is a sad little poll, because there's only 2 people on this live. So I'm gonna say I can't even vote in it. So we have a poll with no votes. Nevertheless, I'm going to put it up in YouTube community page, so anyone can go and vote on it there. Yeah, if no one has any questions or anything that would be good that you want me to talk about, I might wrap up the live here and sort of move on. The only other thing that I put in the title that we've not talked about is the plans for the rest of this year, or the plans for next year. Yeah, really I want to be getting a trailer out soon for Marana, because that film's supposed to be coming out in December, which is going to be a tight deadline to have happen. I think, here's the goss, I think for Marana, I may release it in parts rather than a whole. So I think I've mentioned that in another live, but I really think that I'm going to need to release it in maybe 3 to 5 parts. just for ease of editing, and so that so I can get it out in a timely way. I think editing it in those chunks in those days and releasing it as Marana Part 1 will be the way to go. So and then I'll have to put together like the feature edit, and yeah, which may be disappointing for some people because then it won't be like released as a feature film. But I think for YouTube, it'll be better to release these in an episodic way. We've not really done that before, so I'm interested to see how that goes. And also in this coming Christmas holiday period, there's a film that I'm working on that hopefully we'll get to do. It's going to be a feature film, and I don't know when it's coming out, and I don't want to say what it's about because it's constantly changing. But we're going to get back into feature filmmaking, and that's super exciting to me because that was one of the best parts about one of the most rewarding things was finishing Over the Next Horizon and knowing that I'd made a quote-unquote real movie with a longer narrative. And while we're on Over the Next Horizon, if you've not seen it, I was mentioning we've got 2 feature films on the channel. That's one of them, is Over the Next Horizon. If you've not seen it, please watch that movie. It is it's a very special movie to me. It's the first feature film I made, and it's really only ever gotten views when I've shown it to people. The algorithm never picked it up. So if you've not heard me talk about this film, there's a good chance you'll never ever see it. So that's why I'm bringing it up. It's a post-apocalyptic drama about a man traversing the apocalyptic landscape of Australia, trying to charge his phone and find his missing wife. It's a really it's a film where I've started to explore some stronger themes, and there's a really some great arcs in it, and some how much of this film do I spoil? Just watch the movie. Let me know if you liked it. You can contact us on Facebook. You can contact us on Instagram, on Twitter, or X, formerly Twitter. And there's a new way to get in touch with us as well. You can connect with us now on Discord, which is very exciting. I'm going to post the link in the chat to our Discord. It's currently only there's no fans in it yet. It's just our the filmmakers on Late Night 99. But let me try and find it. I'm not very good at how do I share channel? Oh my goodness, how awkward. All right, invite people. Copy link. All right, this link's only available for 7 days, so here you go. It's in the chat. You can go and join this Discord. Originally, it was a perk from the it was a perk on our Patreon, but no one's subscribing to that. We've not really pushed it. I think I put it on Facebook and X, formerly Twitter, and said hello. We have a Patreon. But I've not been wanting to push it so much. But I think it could be better to open up the late night Discord for anyone that would like to join it. So if you're watching and you would like to join our Discord, you now have the link. So that's very cool. And I'm thinking I'll share that on some other social media platforms, just to get some conversations happening and get to know you. If you're watching and you're a fan and you want to network with other filmmakers and share your stuff with us too, I will watch it if you share a movie with me. So love to see what you've been working on, and if you want to be exposed to, I guess, maybe more regular updates or chatter about what we have going on and what we're doing on Late Night 99, that would be the place to go, I suppose. So yeah, since there's no other comments or no other thoughts from anyone, that's okay. It is very late at night, or very early in the morning, depending on where you are. So I can never find the right time to release videos or do stuff in terms of like catching the different audiences when they're online. But this is the one time in the day that works for me. So this is what you're getting. All right, I'm gonna wrap it up there. But thank you to the two of you that are watching, and all the other people that are gonna watch afterwards when this comes out. So I appreciate it, and yeah, you guys are awesome.